What did you say about the tattoos?
I say that what Trump said yesterday was an absolute lie.
It's not.
They're not. Wait, are you saying the MS-13 that Donald Trump claims are legitimate tattoos on this guy are true? Are you saying the Photoshop is true?
Are you a tattoo truther?
We've been hearing an awful lot from the Democrats about how we're in a constitutional crisis, about how Donald Trump is ignoring the rule of law. But then, of course, you have activist judges trying to legislate from the bench, and we have complete radio silence from the Democrats and the mainstream media. Because, yes, as you can see over here, a Biden-appointed judge says that if you're catching an illegal immigrant coming into this country, or you're trying to catch illegal immigrants already in this country, you actually have to have an arrest warrant for each individual, right? And you can't even detain them to get that arrest warrant. So you see somebody, you think they're illegal, you go and get the warrant, and you have to find them again. This is completely insane, especially because it is specifically laid out in U.S. Code 1357 that says any officer or employee of the service authorized under regulations prescribed by the Attorney General shall have power without warrant to interrogate any alien or person believed to be an alien as to his right to be or remain in the United States, and 2, to arrest any alien who is in presence or view is entering or attempting to enter the United States in violation of any law or regulation made in pursuance of law regarding the admission, exclusion, expulsion, or removal of aliens. All right. So this is clear as day, already in law, and this judge is flouting it. And yet Donald Trump, of course, is the danger to the entire nation. Now, this very idea, this very action, secure borders, etc., is one of the main reasons why Donald Trump was elected. And Donald Trump is winning this issue. And so much so that even Hakeem Jeffries has said, you know what, all you crazy Democrats flying down to El Salvador to try to free a criminal gang member really should probably stop doing that, because it's not going to look well for us in the future. But of course, the Democrats are still the party of denialism, as is going to be pointed out here by Scott Jennings. But before we get to these clips, don't forget to like and comment on this video so we break through the algorithms. Here we go.
Effectively, what you all are arguing for, passionately, and what Democrats are passionately arguing for, is for the President of the United States to re-import a dangerous member of a transnational terrorist organization who has clear affiliations with a gang that commits heinous atrocities. That is not what he was elected to do. And whether you bring him back here or not, I'm just going to explain to you the politics of this through telling you what the Speaker of the House, Hakeem Jeffries, did today, which is that he told his members, please, for the love of God, stop going to El Salvador and dying on this hill. The politics of this could not be worse for the left and worse for Democrats, because the president knows he was elected to protect us from MS-13, and that is what they are doing.
None of the things you just said have been proving. None of the things.
What do you say about the tattoos?
I say that what Trump said yesterday was an absolute lie.
It's not. They're not.
Wait,
are
you saying the MS-13 that Donald Trump claims are legitimate tattoos on this guy are true? Are you saying the Photoshop is true?
Are you a tattoo truther? I mean, I don't understand.
Wait, are you a Photoshop denier?
You're getting away from the issue.
Hold on. Yeah, we are getting away from the issue, Scott. The picture of his knuckles does not say MS-13.
It has symbols.
Okay, yeah. Let me just explain to people
that
what
has
we're
not
talking
been
about
proven
here.
either, Scott. None of the things you have said. They have not said so in
court. Let me just explain to people what we're talking about here. There are symbols on his knuckles. None of them say MS-13. However, this administration has decided that they symbolize something related to MS-13, which is disputed by a lot of people.
It's not disputed.
I am going to move on. I'm going to move on because this is not a conversation about the tattoos.
Oh my goodness, the Democrats have indeed chosen this hill to die on, right? This Maryland man, this peaceful father, this upstanding member of the community who definitely is not a member of MS-13, who has no ties to that gang whatsoever, who apparently isn't even here illegally, right? Yeah, all of which is complete garbage. The man had due process, the man was given orders of deportation, and he was deemed to be a member of the gang. But of course, you have the Democrats, the leftists over here on CNN saying, hey, those tattoos that are on his knuckles, right? It doesn't actually say MS-13. And of course, that's the whole crux of their argument. Yeah, it literally does not have the letters MS and then the numbers 13. All right. It does not have that. I admit it. Okay. But there are symbols on his knuckles that represent that. But now, of course, the line of attack is that because Donald Trump showed the photo and it had MS-13 shown above what the symbols actually represent, they're saying, oh, you actually think that it says MS-13 on there? No, it doesn't. And as Scott Jennings has to point out, you morons, these are symbols. These are tattoos that represent that. But of course, the left feels they have a sticking point on Donald Trump. You see, it was a doctored photo. This was Photoshopped. This isn't real. It's all fake news, okay? And they're going with that line of attack. And I love how Scott Jennings puts it perfectly, right? Are you a tattoo truther? Are you out there saying this does not exist? Are you saying this is not real? And of course, the only response is, yes, that's exactly what we're going with. This man should not be deported and he should be brought back into this country, okay? Keep going with that, Democrats. It's a losing issue and I love it, okay? But of course, the left is going to keep being the left and they don't see any difference between this guy, all right, this gang member, this person who was ordered to be deported, not necessarily to El Salvador, but to anywhere else, all right, and between legal immigrants, people who did it the right way, as we're going to see over here on Piers Morgan with Dinesh D'souza.
You were born in India and you're here legally. I want you here. I support your right to free speech. But if we start throwing people like you out of the country with the Democratic president, like that's not right either. And I don't want that. And I want to make sure that people have access to due process. So they've got to show that Kilmar is a dangerous criminal, which I don't think they can do because otherwise they would have already done it. Otherwise, we need to bring this guy home. That's what the Supreme Court has ruled. And every day that Trump is not listening to the Supreme Court, we're in the middle of a constitutional crisis.
Okay, well, let's go to Dinesh for a response to that.
Well, let's look at the differences between me and Kilmar. For one, I came to the country legally as an exchange student. I then became a foreign student and went to Dartmouth. Then I went through a process of getting a green card legally to work. I went through 5 years of naturalization. So I came to the country in 1978. I only became a citizen in 1991. This guy, Kilmar, came to the country illegally. So start right there. This was a guy who sneaked into the country in violation of law. That alone makes him a criminal. Now, the question is, what do we do about people like Kilmar? The accomplishment, Piers, you noted, Trump has sealed the borders, so it's difficult for new Kilmars to sneak across. But we still have millions of people who are flagrantly and deliberately allowed in by Biden, and just millions of illegals in the country. Does Trump have the right to send those people home? That's the first question we have to ask. Now, an immigration judge admittedly looked at this case and said, yes, I kind of accept that this guy was a gang member based upon an identification apparently by someone in the gang. Note also that the judge said about Kilmar, if he goes back to El Salvador, he will be in danger of being killed by a rival gang. That alone implies that the guy himself was a gang member. Why would a rival gang target him if he wasn't himself in a gang? So the Trump administration has made this determination based upon the facts of the case. They've sent him to his native country, El Salvador. He's a citizen of El Salvador. It's the job of the Salvadoran government to decide what to do about his gang membership or his criminal status. That is not really our concern. So I do see these notable differences between Kilmar and Dinesh.
So this, of course, is a big problem the Democrats have. They can't tell the difference between legal immigration and illegal immigration, right? If you do it the right way, you come across the border, you apply for citizenship, and of course it takes up to 10 years, according to Dinesh D'souza. But if you come across the wrong way, we have no clue who you are. We have no clue what you're going to do in this country or to its citizens. So, of course, by the way, as was rightly pointed out by Dinesh, if you do it that way, you are automatically a criminal. So yes, Abrigo Garcia is a criminal. Also, he was identified by local law enforcement to be a gang member. And in his deportation, right, by the way, of which he had his due process 2 times, by the way, because he had his appeal, right, both times he was identified to be a gang member. So much so that, in fact, he was ordered not to be returned to El Salvador because his life was in danger from a rival gang. But of course, according to the left, there is zero difference between Dinesh D'souza and the wife-beating Abrigo Garcia, who's always seems to be found in the company of known gang members. Yeah, let's go ahead and wrap our heads around this one. So, of course, that means the Democrats are always completely out of touch. But right now, they're attacking Donald Trump because of his supposed low poll numbers. But guess what? Who's even lower? The Democrats themselves.
Democrats just can't get past Trump sucks. They're still facing the same obstacle, showing that they can be better, not just that he is worse. And I'm not just talking about in terms of style, but substance. And you see it in the numbers. When voters were asked, whom they trust to fix the country's problems, Democrats lose to Trump even now, 30-37. It seems Democrats are confusing more with better.
Here's what I walk away with more than anything. Despite his low approval ratings, he's still more popular than the Democrats. So it's really the ultimate indictment against the Democratic Party because, again, despite the noise that he has made and despite unfavorably he's looked upon, the Democrats still can't beat him because you still have nobody to beat him. You don't have a face that resonates nationally. You don't have somebody who's dogged in their beliefs who happen to be able to resonate. We saw Cory Booker, the senator, who's been a guest on this show, speak for 25 straight hours. Not too many people cared. We see Jasmine Crockett and AOC, speaking what they're speaking. Not too many people are caring.
So despite all of the constant attacks from the left, despite all of their polling, which of course is designed to shape public opinion, Donald Trump is still more popular than the Democrats. All right. So what does that tell you? It means the Democrats, the leftists, are losing this battle. And the reason they're losing this battle is clear to see. It's because they're actually the obstructionists. They're the ones who are radical. They're the ones with the crazy ideas that America does not believe in. So thank you very much for watching. Don't forget to like, share, comment, subscribe, and say hi to your mom for me.